We're going to go talk to my buddy John. He has graciously agreed to allow me to take his motorcycle, his 2024 Ninja 500, on a little spin, man. Just wanted to test out to see exactly what the big difference is in feeling of the two bikes. So let's go ahead and do that. Got the two baby beasts right here lined up. Of course, you got my Ninja 400 on this side. You got John's Ninja 500 on that side. And man, I love the KRT on this. This was actually one of the things that really drew me to Kawasaki. For some reason, this color scheme back in 2018 when they were doing it for the Ninja 400, that really got under my skin. Just going to see that on the Kawasaki's website. Like, I think I looked at bikes that had that particular colorway for like hours on end, man. For some reason, I still ended up with the black one. I'm not sure how that happened. I think I was looking to do like some underglows and stuff like that. So I wanted black because I felt like that matched with everything. But anyway, John got the 2024 Ninja 500 SE model. So that comes with the TFT display. That is mad dirty. The radiator cover, which I'm not sure why they thought that was a selling point. Frame sliders already attached. John has taken this thing down a couple times, huh? He got it still looking clean, still got the, and it all also for your SE models also comes with the tank grips that are plastic, and I don't know if they really grip anything, but I guess I'll find out in a few minutes. But another thing that really, and this, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this almost made me upgrade my Ninja 400. It comes with a key pass, which is the intelligent key system, but for some godforsaken reason, Kawasaki only put it on this bike and nothing else. So I like really don't understand how that works, but they literally put it on this bike, and they did not put it on the ZX4s, the ZX6, the ZX10s, Ninja 650. That's one thing that really irritates me about Kawasaki. There's no uniformity in none of their products right now. And that kind of bothers me a little bit, but you know, what you gonna do? It ain't your brand. And in case anybody's wondering, the SE models also come with this USB port here. That's a USB-C. So just in case you were wondering, the regular one does not come with that. So let's go ahead and hop on this thing. Just taking her around the block a little bit. Just seeing if there's any differences in the system and how it feels. All you got to do is have the key on you somewhere and just press that down and turn it. And then you just fire it up. A shout out to John, man. He was nice enough to allow me to use his bike. He trusts your boy. Oh man, let's go. It sounds exactly the same. I don't know, it's a little bit of a deeper growl. He has an aftermarket exhaust on here too. It's very similar to the one that's on my bike. It feels really different. I don't know, it's something about this seating position that feels like, it feels more like a Ninja 650, if that makes any sense. TFT looking nice. I hardly ever get to ride bikes with TFTs anymore. I mean, that was one of the things that I was looking forward to when I was looking for a Ninja 400 2024 model Ninja 400, which for whatever reason came out in India. So I thought that they were leaving the Ninja 400s exactly the same, but they came out with a 2024 Ninja 400 in India and then came out with a 2024 Ninja 500 in America. So that's what Kawasaki did to me. I don't know. It does feel It feels exactly the same, I'll be honest with you. Like, it almost feels slower, but I know that's because John doesn't ride as hard as I do. He seems to obey the speed limit, but you know, that's just based off of what I can see from my bike when I'm riding with him. I love the way this feels though. Like, it definitely does feel more like a Ninja 650 than my bike. Like, it feels a little bit more comfortable, if that makes any sense. I don't know, it could be exactly the same, but I do have a different seat on my bike. There's a little bit of a deeper growl to this one. In addition to that, I was just on the ZX6R yesterday, so I don't even know if my standards are the standards to be going off of right now. It's almost like drinking tea and eating ice cream. Like, at some point, something's gonna taste weird. I love the TFT, man. Between that and the key pass, like, at some point, I literally was like about to upgrade my bike because of those two features, man. I love technology. When you say that I can get pretty much an LCD screen that's digital, I love digital. Like, that's one the biggest thing for me. That's just having the digital features and stuff like that. The biggest factor for me is just that in particular. It's about the same weight. It feels exactly the same. I don't really know if there is a difference. Like, of course I can hear it and feel it, but when it comes to the speed and the torque, like, I don't really feel it. Like, it's different but the same at the same time. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Somebody check me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Something that Kawasaki does every single time they create something or they move on into the next generation, everything just feels sturdier. And I'm not sure if I'm tripping about that, but I did talk to the dude who I rented the ZX6 from, and he owned a 2018 ZX6 and a 2022 ZX6, and both of us agreed that the newer model felt just like it was a little bit tighter, just a little bit sturdier than the old 2018 one that he had. Yeah, I just really just feel like I'm riding my bike, but just in green. I do wish I had some disposable income. I would definitely transform my my 400 to a KRT, because I love the green, black, and red. The grumble in the engine sounds very bassy, you know, and this particular bike is a little bassier than the Ninja 400 as well, and I think it just might be because the added displacement just makes a little bit of a difference to it. I don't know. Hey John, if you're watching, I'm about to go off-roading with your bike. No, I'm just kidding. The power on delivery is a little bit quicker. I think the torque numbers are a little bit higher on this bike than on the 400, which would make the torque numbers it would make it make sense if the power feels a little better on delivery, even if it's not quicker. And just in horsepower in general, I think the horsepower may be a little difference in numbers. I'll put the specs on screen so that you can compare the difference between the two bikes. And now we're about to hit the highway. This will be the real test of whether or not it's much of a difference. Okay, never mind. We are on a little bit of a stronger bike here. Up top, it definitely is a little different. Once you get in this bike's power band, it is definitely something to talk about. Traffic is just so horrible out here today. Ugh. Yeah, it's definitely a much stronger bike than the Ninja 400. If you ever wanted to know exactly where the huge difference is between a Ninja 400 and a Ninja 500, it's definitely in the power band, man. Not much faster, but definitely quicker. Like, it gets up to speed a lot faster than the Ninja 400 does. I'm impressed. I'm a little impressed that, you know, that generation between the 400 and the 500, that it made that much of a difference. I'm a little impressed, I had to say. Like, it still feels like the same bike, but it's just that you know for a fact that when you rip the throttle on this and get it up in the power band, it feels so much different. And that's surprising because the numbers actually, like, it's not that much of a difference when you look at it on paper. Specs, the torque numbers and the horsepower numbers, like, it's not really that much of a difference, but you definitely can tell when you ride it. Brakes feel the same. I got one more stop before I take this bad boy back to John. Always leave things better than how you found it, folks. Keep that in mind. If you can add to, add to. There's no replacement for being a good person. That is not an opinion. That is a fact. So overall, I believe that both of these bikes are very much similar. Like, I don't know if there's really enough of a difference to justify for people who are thinking about upgrading from like a R3 or CBR 300 or something, or even a Ninja 400 to get one of these. Like, obviously the difference between a 300 and this 451 is, you know, it's staggering. Like, I definitely, you know, got a little bit of an opinion about that, but you're probably good on going ahead, skip the 451. Just in the difference between this bike here and that bike there, man, it's very, very minor differences. Like, it's not a whole bunch of difference to say that, you know, I gotta get rid of this one to get one of these. Like, but this is a very cool bike. Like, for what it is, I think the Ninja 500 is the perfect quality. I love the fact that it went from the Ninja 400 to the Ninja 500, and Kawasaki did not increase the price much. I think it was only like $100 or $200 or something like that. So, you know, it's a very good value. I think the SE model is like 6,300 or something like that, but it's definitely worth it once you factor in the TFT, the tank grips, the USB plug and everything. Like, it's definitely worth it. It comes with Bluetooth technology and everything that you can use Rideology with. I'm not trying to oversell the Ninja 500. I just know the value between the two bikes, and I think it's definitely worth it for what it is. I wouldn't pay much more for it, but, you know, considering this economy that we're in right now, we're definitely heading to a situation where this bike would cost a little bit more. So let me know how you feel about this in the comments. How do you feel about beginner class bikes or beginner Ninja? Do you think it's worth it to upgrade from a 400 to a 500 or 451? Like, let me know in the comments. Oh, and another thing that the SE models come with, it comes with LED turn signals like this. That's actually the same ones that I have on my 400, so I didn't even realize that. But yeah, it comes with that as well. But all in all, man, it's a very cool bike. I love it for what it is, man. I have absolutely zero complaints. If I had purchased that bike in particular over a Ninja 400, I definitely would have been a little bit happier with my purchase. But you guys remember exactly what happened. But I kind of talked about that in one of my previous videos, that Kawasaki definitely left me hanging. But, you know, that's not Kawasaki's fault. That was my fault for not doing my due diligence. But regardless, let me know how you feel about it in the comments, guys. Until next time, stay safe, 10 toes down. I will catch you on the next video. Peace out.